obviously people have been disrespecting Jokic.
I was one of those people. You know that Shaq meme was like, I wasn't really familiar with your game. Watching Jokic just take it up a whole nother level during this playoff run, he's definitely earned my respect.
I ain't gonna lie, I was hating, and I'm gonna tell you why I was hating. Seeing a white man win MVP 3 years in a row in the Black Man's League, wasn't having it.
Nikola Jokic is once again right at the center of MVP conversations. And for good reason. His unmatched court vision, elite passing, and all-around dominance have made him a frontrunner for this year's Most Valuable Player award. All the praise comes a fair share of criticism and even some envy. Why? Because Jokic isn't your typical MVP. He's not flashy, fast, or known for freak athleticism. He just plays brilliant basketball and makes it look way too easy. That effortless style has ruffled some feathers. Some fans and even former players seem uncomfortable with how he's rewriting what dominance looks like in today's NBA. One of the most vocal critics, ESPN's own Kendrick Perkins. Perkins has made some bold, even controversial claims about Jokic and the MVP race. So let's dive into what he really said and examine whether there's any truth behind the noise, or if it's all just misguided frustration.
I just want to know, what song are we dancing to? Because I'm walking up into the club, I got my J's on. I didn't know it was a dress code to put on church shoes. So when I say that, Stephen A., when I come on here every single time and I ask, what is the criteria for the MVP and how the goalposts move, I'm asking these questions for a reason. And so when I look at JJ and I hear him talk, because he's so big in analytics and he's a historian when it comes down to diving in deep and going back into history and talking about the evolution of the game, why didn't he never bring up this in particular subject? When it comes down to guys winning MVP since 1990, it's only 3 guys that won the MVP that wasn't top 10 in scoring. Do you know who those 3 guys were?
Who are they?
Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. No.
Dirk Nowitzki.
What do those guys have in common? I'll let it sit there and marinate. You think about it.
He didn't say it outright, but the message was clear. They're all white. Perkins hinted at something deeper without spelling it out, and everyone picked up on the subtext. Known for trusting the eye test more than advanced stats, Perkins once again stood firm on his approach. But on the other side of the debate, Wright from the First Take crew came ready. With energy and precision, Wright pushed back, not just with numbers, but also with sharp observations from watching the game. He blended data and instinct, building a case that challenged Perkins' stance head-on.
Because I know that he doesn't like advanced stats, but often advanced stats inform us, they provide insight. They often reinforce what we see. So they kind of complement the eye test. I know you're an eye test guy and you don't like advanced stats, but I might use a few here. I just want to react, because I didn't hear this, the idea that his teammates shoot good or bad shots. So Second Spectrum, wonderful company, they installed tracking cameras in every arena 10 years ago, and their technology has evolved, and one thing we've learned from that is we can actually track which players create good shots for their teammates. And Nikola Jokic is top 5 in shot quality created. So if you watch them play, Perk, and I know you do, sometimes you might not stay up late on the Mountain Time Zone, but if you watch them play, when he's deciding whether or not to shoot or score, he's often making a read, because that's what good basketball players do. They make reads. So if he's getting a double, he's going to kick. If he sees the help coming too early, he's going to swing it to the corner. It's a good pass. What's the most efficient corner 3 in basketball?
Kendrick Perkins didn't hold back. He questioned the MVP criteria itself, asking how anyone can truly judge a player. Is it about team records, advanced analytics, the good old eye test, or something else entirely? His frustration highlighted a growing debate around how we value greatness. Former First Take host Max Kellerman had also weighed in on this controversy, once admitting something that caught many off guard: "I've never seen such a gap between MVP hype and my personal top 5 list." It was a bold statement, aimed squarely at Nikola Jokic, who had been dominating MVP conversations at the time. In response, Perkins echoed a sentiment shared by others. Jokic needs to show real playoff success to cement future MVP claims. But critics of this stance quickly pointed out the flaw. Jokic wasn't just good, he was elite. He had led the Nuggets to the top seed in the conference while averaging a triple-double. a stat line few can match. And let's set the record straight. MVP is a regular season award. Playoff performance has no official bearing despite public opinion often blending the two. Looking back at the 2021 and 2022 playoffs, the Nuggets were knocked out by the eventual champs, the Golden State Warriors. But Jokic didn't have much help. His supporting cast included role players like Monty Morris and Will Barton, who has since been waived by the Wizards, plus Austin Rivers, averaging just 5 points a game, and Jeff Green chipping in with 6. Bones Highland shot under 40%, and both Bryn Forbes and DeMarcus Cousins struggled to make a significant impact. Even Draymond Green, known for his honest takes and deep basketball IQ, spotted defensive lapses from Jokic in those series. Green, who often breaks down game film with surgical detail, pointed out errors in the first half of one Nuggets game that many fans might have missed entirely.
I have 4 clips at halftime, and it was a Nuggets game, and I went at Jokic's defense. I'm like, if they're going to ever be a good team, he's the back line of the defense. He has to be good defense.
Later, Draymond pointed out that Jokic began fixing those defensive lapses, making the same rotations he had previously missed. It showed real growth.
And I showed 4 clips. Him not rotating over as the low man, him not moving. 4 clips. And I was very critical of him.
Draymond reflected on the moment, remarking how adjustments showed he was not just listening, but learning.
He came up to me that following year and he said, hey, he said something along the lines like, I saw what you said about my defense or something. You were right, or I appreciate it, or something he said like that. And he said, I've gotten better. I said, you've 100% gotten better. I've been watching you this year, and you've 100% gotten better. And that was a big moment for me because this TV thing is new.
Looking ahead, it's obvious Draymond Green has all the tools to become an outstanding NBA analyst once he hangs up his jersey. His insights already show how smart feedback can elevate a player's game. Case in point, Jokic, while constructive advice helped him grow, trash talk had the opposite effect. It only fired him up. Players like Russell Westbrook, Markieff Morris, and Dwight Howard tried to get under his skin, but it backfired every time. Trying to rattle Jokic is as pointless as calling his MVPs undeserved. It doesn't shake him, it just makes the critic look out of touch. Those who challenged him ended up on the wrong end of the scoreboard. Jokic is usually calm and composed unless you push the wrong buttons. That's probably why most players have stopped trying. These days, it's mainly analysts doing the talking. One of them is Nick Wright, known for his bold takes. He didn't hold back when casting doubt on Jokic's MVP credentials.
The MVP having to be awarded in some hallway somewhere because he's not playing in round 2 ain't great. And in the macro wilds, when you look at the list of league MVPs over history, I say this with respect to Jokic. Historically speaking, he would be the worst one we've had in 35 years. Chris Paul wouldn't be. Chris Paul's an all-time great player. Yep. Nikola Jokic is having a great season and a very good player.
Nick Wright made sure to clear the air. He doesn't see himself as a Jokic hater. In his words, he's just being honest about his analysis.
2 years ago, I was called a hater because I said he would be second on my MVP ballot to Chris Paul, who then swept his ass out of the playoffs.
Nick Wright's second argument doesn't really hold up. People need to remember that the NBA MVP is all about the regular season, the 82 games that come before the playoffs, not the postseason. Despite being swept in the playoffs, Jokic showed up strong in his series against the Suns, averaging 25 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 5.8 assists. He led the Nuggets in all 3 of those categories. Chris Paul's team taking down Jokic's Nuggets didn't hurt Paul's MVP case, so why should it affect Jokic's? When analysts like Nick Wright mix playoff performance with regular season MVP talks, it's better to just tune them out. It's a simpler way to handle it, but be ready, they'll keep pushing their point.
Last year, I was called a hater because I said, there's 2 guys in the Western Conference carrying mediocre rosters.
Nick recalled.
Jokic and Luka. And everyone said, oh, Nick, you're showing nepotism, parental bias. And I said, no, Luka's better. And then Luka found his way to the Western Conference Finals. Listen, Jokic, had he not won those previous MVPs, to me would be the leading candidate this year.
Let's say it together. Playoff success has no bearing on the regular season MVP. It's that simple. This situation also highlights something called voter fatigue, which plays a role here. The MVP should go to the player who's been most valuable during the regular season. Whether it's their first win or their fifth, take the case of Nikola Jokic's number 15 jersey. Back in 2015, it might have felt like a slight to Carmelo Anthony when the Nuggets gave it to Jokic. At the time, Carmelo was the star of the team, bringing fans back into the stands and reigniting excitement for Denver basketball. The team was winning, and the arena was packed. But when Carmelo was traded, many thought his number 15 would be retired. That didn't happen. After a few seasons without a number 15, Jokic came along and took it, something he had worn even before joining the NBA. Understandably, this didn't sit well with Carmelo, who still seems bothered by it today. Recent podcast appearance, Carmelo didn't hold back, expressing his frustration with the Nuggets' decision.